Hello, everybody. Hey, happy Monday. Hope you're doing well. I am doing great. While we're waiting on folks to join, go to coopedup.com after I get done with this, of course, and see what I post there. That's my website. Follow me on Instagram. I'm Cooped Up is my handle there. You're already following me here, so I assume that I don't need to tell you that. But you can click on a bell and get notified anytime I post new content. That would be great. So, hey, Mama, good to see you. Always the first to log in. Woohoo! It's so funny. I was watching in my memories earlier today of it was from like 6 years ago, something like that. Of I when I was doing the Blue Apron videos, when I don't know if y'all remember these, but there were videos. So we were subscribing to Blue Apron, and I would open the box and literally not even cooking or anything, just opening, looking at a beet, looking at an apple, whatever, and being like, oh, blah, 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 just talking. People loved them. Blue Apron saw them, sent me stuff, but there was one I saw that the kids were helping me. And Mesa was talking like this. It was, oh my God, my heart melted. It's like, where did they grow up so much? So my day went from that, seeing the kids as babies, like 6 years old, hamming it up for Blue Apron. Cooped up live on opening a Blue Apron box. We went by my office today because summer break officially starts today for them. We went by my office today, and Mason is as tall as one of my employees now. It's like, oh, so I'm not one of those people who's like, oh, make my kids stop growing up. I want my babies back, all that kind of stuff. I like all of the growth. I like seeing the people that they're turning into. I like envisioning what the future is and getting glimpses of who they're going to be as adults, because that is my job. My job is not to take care of babies, to take care of kids. My job is to create self-sufficient, contributing members of society that are good adults. That is my job, is to raise good adults. And so that I take that very seriously. I want them to be funny adults too. I want them to be responsible. But it was just a weird juxtaposition today, watching that video of them as tiny little things. And then it was our first time to see my staff actually in over a year since the pandemic, because we've only opened up my office for maybe 2 months now, and they've been in school that whole time. So they haven't seen anything. And Arden, who's the one, she's my number 2 in command. I'm at my PR firm. That's who she's going on maternity leave. Scared of that next week. And the kids wanted to see her one last time before she did that. So weird. As you probably saw in the caption, live from Texas, it wasn't supposed to be this way today. We were supposed to, the original plan was going to be that we left on Saturday afternoon or maybe yesterday. And by now we were supposed to be, I think, in the Nantahala Valley of, I don't know if that's Tennessee or Georgia or North Carolina. It all comes together kind of at a point right there. And being there for the next few days and whitewater rafting and all of that kind of stuff. And but obviously that's not the case. I still don't have word if the differential arrived today. If it arrives today in Arlington and we get confirmation, they've told us that we will have Gracie by Thursday, and then we're planning to pull out of town, I think on Saturday, pack her up on Friday. She'll be parked in front of my house, y'all, if you want to drive by, if you know where I live. And I'll give you a tour. You've got to be vaccinated. And then we'll head out on Saturday. So, but you know what? It is really, really hard to plan an RV trip. Any trip, actually, but a road trip of some sort. When you don't know when you're going to leave. And you have to book places to stay. And it's not like we can park Gracie any old place. She's the size of a tour bus, so it's not like all of the parks can take us. So that is proving very difficult to hit that moving target. But we're doing our best. We've had to cut some things out. One side of it was going to be that we could just go all the same places for shorter amounts of time. But that just ends up killing you, and you end up driving more than you end up staying. So we're cutting certain things out. Actually, I think we're cutting the Nantahala Valley out because there are certain things that we can do in the Pigeon Forge area that kind of duplicated Natahala has like more like robust rapids to ride and whitewater rafting. But we can do that in I think it's the French Broad River. That sounds right to me. I think it's the same one that goes through Asheville, that goes through the Pigeon Forge area. And it's a little smoother, but you know what? We've never done it before, so I'm not sure that we need the roaring rapids for our first experience in whitewater rafting. But we will see. What are y'all saying in the comments? Beth is asking, why do we see our kids grow so fast, yet I feel like we haven't aged that much? I agree. Aside from maybe my back, my shoulder, I got a bum shoulder now. Just, it hurts all the time. But I don't feel like I've aged that much. Occasionally I look at myself and I'm like, where did that go? And where did that come from? But other than that, no. Hey, Michelle. Good to see you. I know they were young, but have the kids expressed what they would like to do for a living? You know, I actually don't pressure them. I don't ask that question. I do think it's young, 12, to be doing that. But, you know, in some countries, like in Germany, for example, you take a test in like the 6th grade that basically determines your entire future. So if you don't pass this test, you have to go to trade school, which is not bad, but you don't have a choice. You are not allowed to go to high school, and you are definitely not allowed to go to college. Well, there are ways to get around it, but it's like extraordinary measures. So basically, if you do not do well on this test in the 6th grade, I believe it is, you basically have no college degree, anything like that, university, because they pay for it. That's the downside of having free education. The government suddenly starts having to put rules in place about who can do it and who can't. Well, I ask, like, what are you interested in? So Claire's very interested in like design, interior design specifically. She always likes to be involved in kind of the decision making around the house. Mason, if he's anything other than a video game programmer, I will be surprised, or gamer himself. Monica's asking, what is wrong with my shoulder? It's the same thing. The tendons on the back, it doesn't hurt as bad today, but I just get where I think it's from just repetitive stress. I think it's this, the way I'm holding it. And doctor, when I've complained about it, the doctor has said, well, you need more muscles. You're using too much of your joint and your tendons to hold your body up. And I'm like, hey, I don't want to work out. I'd rather be in pain than work out. Oh, so am I still here? It looks like I got a blip that made it look like I cut out for a minute. So Michelle is recommending smoother is better on the first whitewater rafting trip. Yeah, I think that is very, very true. Also, I want to stay in Pigeon Forge a little bit longer because I really, really, really want to go to Dollywood. But we won't go to Dollywood if we're only there for 2 days. So I'm hoping that we can stay longer. Monica's saying that's stupid to the working out. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about. Anyway, so we're going to do that. So we're going to go from here, I think, straight away to Pigeon Forge. I mean, it takes a couple of days to get there, but like to Pigeon Forge area. And then from there, we're going to go down to a different place called the Highlands, I think. And it is North Carolina. North Carolina. It's in the mountains. This place that we got, y'all, the view is insane. And we're going to be there a couple of days just hanging out. It's really high up, really nice. I hope that it's cooler as well. And then we're going to go from there, I think, cut over to the Nashville area, I believe. I could be getting some of this wrong. And hanging out there just for a little bit. There's this great park that we've stayed at before that we like a lot. Oh, I know. We're leaving here. We're going up to Little Rock and then over to Pigeon Forge. That's what we're doing, kind of up and over. And then on the way back, we're going to go to this place called Lake Catherine in Hot Springs. That's kind of going to be our way back. So Phyllis is saying the Highlands is a beautiful area. Yes, we've been there. Todd's parents live just down the mountain from there, but it takes like an hour to get to Cashiers and Highlands because of just the mountain passes and all that stuff. But it is gorgeous. And they have these waterfalls. And if you know me for a minute, I love a fucking waterfall. I will tell you, I'm obsessed with waterfalls. Like I just want to see all of them, love them. And I've seen a bunch of them in that area already. Speaking of waterfalls, I didn't tell you about my weekends yet. So the new campus, we're working on it. They're taking all this brick off. The columns are there. The columns are a little bit damaged, but they're still look better than that brick was on the front of them. I think I've shown you a picture of that before. But we had a plumbing. So we had a pipe burst in the freeze. We had it repaired on Friday. And I think I told you about this. And then turned the water back on. Everything seemed fine. Well, Friday evening, I get a call that the fire alarm is going off. And I'm like, fuck that. So I go down there. We look around. We can't figure out. We go upstairs. There's a new water feature in our new campus. Waterfall anybody on the second floor. Yes, I did not like that waterfall. It was coming out of light fixtures, everything. So I guess when we repressurized the pipes, there was another one that burst at that time. And it wasn't huge, but it was crazy. So got it mostly turned off. We thought we got it turned off. Come back the next day, it's still doing it, just like a trickle now. So then we had to get the wrench out and do the water thing. I've done more plumbing work in the plumber was amazing. This guy named Frank Smith. He came out twice. Love him. He's helped us at our house. So none of this is his fault. It's just bad luck on that. So Angela is saying, go to Ithaca, New York. So beautiful with lots of waterfalls and vineyards. That sounds great. How much driving will you do, Cooper? Is Gracie easier to drive than Bernadette? Michelle is asking. You know what? So on our very first trip ever in Bernadette, I did most of the driving because Todd was working. We also realized that the only thing Todd hates worse than driving an RV is watching me drive an RV. So he tends to do more of the driving than I do. But I've told him that we can do shifts. I'm totally capable of it. We have very different styles, though. So none of them are hard. You just have to remember just to take it easy. Don't freak out. Just stay in one lane as much as you can. And then towing the Jeep adds like an additional layer. The hardest part is 18-wheelers. When they come blowing past you, there's like this air pressure thing that kind of pushes you off the side of the road. And that terrifies me every fucking time. Supposedly, I've not driven Gracie before, but supposedly in Gracie, since she weighs about 3 times as much as Bernadette did, she kind of holds her own a little bit better. She's a stout girl, so it's not as big of a deal. So I'm not afraid of it. Todd and I just have very different driving styles. He's much more conscious of exactly where he is on the road. I'm on the road still, but I'm less conscious of my precise coordinates on the road. He's more concerned about people like trying to get on the road and making room for them. My thing is I'm in a fucking, basically with the Jeep and everything, I'm a 60-foot long, big ass brick. And I'm coming and I cannot slow down. I got a big horn also. So, and I go like 62 miles an hour. So I'm not even speeding. I'll stay in that right lane. I will hug the line and just keep it in my little rearview mirror. I'm not trying to be in the center of the lane. I will hug the sideline. And if you're trying to get on and you're not speeding up, that is not my problem. I've run people off the road. Just they're like, because people are stupid getting on the highway. And I'm not going to endanger my family and my sanity just because you're too stupid to actually speed up to get on the highway. People they're like, 45 miles an hour until they actually get on the road and then go. The point of an on-ramp is to get up to cruising speed, people. So she's big boned. Yeah. So, and there's a reason there were waiters in the basement. I know. Tawana, it's so funny you say that. That song came on in the car earlier and I was doing the Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls. I was thinking about that music video. Do you remember how technologically advanced that music video was? I think they used the same technology that like Terminator, like remember that, was it Terminator 2, Terminator 3? I don't remember which one, that where it was like the molten liquid kind of thing. I think they used that. Like that was. I remember what a fucking big deal TLC's "Don't Go Chasing Waterfalls" was. Still love that. I know every word except for the rap portion to that song. And even today, I was listening to it and trying to. I cannot get Lisa Left Eye's rest in peace. What she's saying. I need to just print out the lyrics. I cannot catch it, but I know every other word to it. I like literally could sing it right now, even without accompaniment. I love it so much. That is one of my jams. Coop, I have a physiotherapist that can help with that shoulder. I'll text her info to you. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Diane. And she's a brick house. Yes. And again, I'm not going to, everything rattles inside, like dishes and everything. And if you make a sudden turn, like the refrigerator will pop open and a watermelon busts on the floor or something. So I'm not doing any extreme motion. My extreme motion is moving forward. And if you do not see it while I am driving, that is your problem, not mine. You should not be on the road if you cannot see a 60-foot long, like giant brick house, exactly, of a thing. So yeah, crazy. Part of reorganizing our trip though was that we've had to cancel some things and move some things. And there was one campground in that Nantahala Valley. Todd is not having it with them. So they're like, normally it's like a 48-hour cancellation policy. They're like, no, we have waived our cancellation policy for holiday weekends, right? Because it would be Friday, I guess, I don't know. Somehow we overlap with the 4th of July season for them, right? And they're like, no, you can't get it back. Sorry. I know it's not your it's not your fault that your RV broke down, but I don't know why I'm making her sound so nasally. And she's just like, I've lost money on it too. And Todd then goes, okay, then I don't want to cancel my stay. She was like, excuse me? He was like, if I'm going to have to pay you anyway, I don't want you making extra money on my spot. I want to book it, and it's just going to sit empty while we're not there. And then she goes, well, I'm sorry, it's already been rebooked. And Todd's like, so you're going to make twice as much money simply because I was not able to show up. And the lady was like, huh, you've got a great point there. And so basically Todd had I need to speak to your manager moment. So it got escalated to the manager. The manager waived all but one night. So we had 3 nights that we were going to lose, so all but one night. But I'm like, that is shitty. KOA, shame on you. That is shitty that they were. I get the cancellation policy. I get the reason behind it. I get that you don't want people canceling and then you lose out because no one was booking the spot. But the minute that spot is taken, the first person should be off the hook. That's what I think. So Todd is Karen. It worked. Yeah. I mean, we still ended up paying $100 or something for it, but yeah, good for Todd. Exactly. But he was not having it. I would be surprised if he doesn't actually still dispute the credit card charge either. And the plus side is he booked it on his account. And most of the time we book our KOA stays on my account. We try to avoid KOAs if we can. They're not great. They're reliable. They're like a low rent McDonald's, like of they're not going to be all that. Some of them are nicer than others, but they're reliable. You know what you're getting. You can get in and out of them. They're usually pretty easy to find, all that kind of stuff. They're good for like overnights. In this case, it was just that our RV is too big for some of the local spots. But since we normally book it on mine, I mean, he could honestly just say, fuck you, cancel on a credit card. And if they put a warning up on his account, what's the worst that can happen? Because we got different accounts. What else? Oh, y'all, I got to talk a little bit more quietly because he can sometimes hear me. So Mason got his second vaccine this weekend, and we had a hilarious moment with it. So we go in at the doctor's office, at our pediatrician's office. He lifts his shirt up to get the shot. Y'all, the Band-Aid from the first shot was still on there. A 3-week-old Band-Aid is just hanging on his arm. Luckily I laugh. I don't get embarrassed by shit like that because, whatever. I laughed and I was like, that is either the cleanest Band-Aid or the filthiest Band-Aid ever. Because it is, my son does take showers and he actually takes very long showers. I don't think he's doing that yet, but yeah. But a 3 week, it was one of those, in his defense, it was one of those kind of fabric-y Band-Aids, the ones like with the stretch and they're fabric-y and it's kind of the same color of his skin. And they don't come off super easily. And even if they get washed and stuff, it wasn't a waterproof one though, but it was still on there. I mean, it was tattered as hell, but it was still on there. I was just like, dude, you're such a dude. I was like, what? Yeah, this is what 12-year-olds are like. 12-year-old little boys. Yeah. So Eric is saying, I reserved a non-refundable suite in June 2016 for Hillary's inauguration. When things didn't quite go as I thought, I sent my sister and my niece to DC for the Women's March because I wasn't about to have Hilton make money double off of my suite. I know. Good for you. Good for you. I know you did not want to be in DC that day, though. Oh, man. What else do I have to talk about today? Bought Elton John tickets this weekend for October of 2022. We are buying tickets 15 months in advance to see Elton John. It's his final tour. I was kind of making fun of him last week. Well, we ended up talking about it, and we want to go. And Monica and Mike are going with us too. And it is at Globe Life Field Stadium. Funny enough, Elton's actually here twice. He has 2 concerts here from a previous round of tours that it's like in January or February upcoming at American Airlines Center. But they're like a Tuesday and Wednesday night. And so we wanted to go to the weekend one, which is in October 2020 or September maybe. Whatever it is, Monica, we got the right date. It is, Monica's like September or October, but it is 2022. I'm like, that is so, it is September, Josh. I'm sorry. I got September and October, same difference. But I can't believe so first of all, I've spent so much money on concert tickets since we've been vaccinated and the world is opening back up. I got with Eric, I'm going to Ricky Martin and Enrique Iglesias. With Carrie, I'm going to see Celine Dion in Las Vegas. We got a Hamilton tickets for like 3 weeks after that. And then I've got Elton, and I'm sure there's others to come. Everyone's getting back on the road. Elton is so good though. Kelly is saying, I have never seen him live. I really want to. So here's the thing about Elton. He does not I've seen him more than any performer. I've been to more of his concerts than any other performer. They're fun. He's sweet. He's got great stories. He's not coming out dressed as Donald Duck anymore or the baseball player. And he's not jumping up and doing the stuff. It's not that, but there's great visuals around. Like one of the shows I saw was designed by David LaChapelle, which is the big visual artist. The screen behind him had 3 monster-size Pamela Andersons with pasties dancing. It was so good. Inflatable boobs fell out of the ceiling. This was his Vegas show, but good stuff. So, and Josh is saying Friday, September 30th, 2020. So it may be October when we get home. Let's just put it that way. That's close enough for me. The Band-Aid story is hilarious. I know. I mean, I'm sure I did stuff like that too. And Sadie thinks the Band-Aid story is also funny. I'm interested. I have never actually been to an arena concert before in my life. I mean, I've been like to American Airlines Center and all of that, but I've never been to a concert at like Cowboy Stadium or at, that was the only Elton John tour I missed as a grown person. I did not go to the Dueling Pianos one, which was at Texas Stadium, which existed at the time. I've not been to Globe Life at all. I tend to not like going to these places because it takes as long to get in and out as the concert lasted, but things I do for Elton. So anyway, I have so this morning I went and to get donuts. The kids have been begging for donuts. I was like, it's our first like official day of vacation. Um, so I go to Southern Made Donuts, which is a place down the street from our house, and walk in, and the lady is like, and the case is like ransacked. There's like nothing in it, hardly. She's like, sorry, this is all I have today. And I'm like, what happened? She's like, my baker at the end of his shift last night just up and said, or I guess yesterday, just said, I don't want to do this anymore, and left, quit on the spot. She did not have a backup baker or anything. So I think they were the donuts that were left over from yesterday that we got today. They were not great, and they normally have good donuts at this place. It's all right. They're a small business. I support them. But man, to have someone quit like that, like that's, I try to make sure, like even in my company, to have redundancies, but I guess you can't have if you don't need two donut bakers, I guess you don't need two donut bakers. I don't know. But if anyone wants to make donuts, Southern Made is suddenly hiring for a donut maker. Michelle is saying, take a limo, upfront drop off. I've never done that before. That is actually not a horrible idea. And speaking of employees, I spent most of my day. We made an offer to someone who was starting on July 8th. I actually will be out of town on her first day, and Arden, who works with me, who will be her direct boss, is actually delivering her baby that day. So this poor girl is gonna get trial by fire, which is all the rest of my team, which is great. They can bond while we're gone, all that kind of stuff. It's just weird. But I spent most of the day just setting her up and all. You don't realize how many fucking systems you use for things like payroll and managing this and managing that, and managing Facebook pages and all the different. I spent most of my day setting her up in all of the different tools, and she didn't even start for another week and a half. So, grossest thing though. So I pull up to my office, and there's a humongous dead possum just in the street. It has been run over 16 and a half times. It's like, bleh, gross, right? So that, I thought that was gross enough. It was big enough that I like moved my car into the other lane because it was so big. Like I couldn't just straddle it. So I get parked. We're going inside, look out the window, and there's something I've never seen in the city. The two biggest buzzards I've ever seen in my life. They look like turkeys. Someone called them turkey buzzards. I don't know if that's actually a thing, but they look like big ass turkeys. We're out there in the road, like on Bishop Boulevard. If you know Oak Cliff at all, it's a pretty major street. Picking at this thing, eating it, pulling out the intestines. Oh, it was so nasty. I could not look away though. But I was like, what? How are they in the city? Like it was just so weird. And then they would just teeter out of the way when a car would come by, and then teeter back. And then it started raining, and then yeah. Anyway. Oh, Alice, I don't like what you're saying. Parking at Globe Life was fine, but it took an hour and a half to get from our floor seats out of the stadium. Sorry, I would never buy floor seats there again. That's what we have. We have 12th row. Really good floor seats, actually. Maybe we'll just take our time, just hang out. That's what we did. Carrie and I, when we saw Adele, I normally don't buy floor seats because I like to be a little bit elevated. I like an actual place to sit that's like padded. Also, don't like everyone around me standing. I want to be able to sit down and be able to still see over people. Fortunately, I'm tall, so I can generally see over people anyway. But the layout of this one, it looked like it was like floor seats and then no man's land and then the seats. They looked really far away if you were sitting in the regular seat. So I took a chance. We got 12th row. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Final show. And Kelly's saying stay at Live by Lowe's for the night. That's not a horrible idea. I need to look into that. Man, that's crazy. I forgot what I was talking about. I lost my train of thought. Oh, the buzzards. I mean, that was so weird seeing buzzards like in the middle of the city. I've never seen that. We get all kinds of other stuff too. Meredith says she walked in to Southern Made Donuts as the backup baker, a temp hire, was pulling out fresh ones. He was exhausted. Oh man. God, I mean, I felt so bad for them. Like just, and again, we don't know the whole story. Maybe they're just bitches who work there, horrible to their staff. And the guy was like, I'm not taking this anymore. It could have been that way, or he could have just been like, nope, I'm leaving. So Monica's saying, if I owned a bakery, I think I'd learn how to make donuts. Yeah, there is that too, right? And Sandy's saying, I'm hearing a lot of stories of people just quitting on the spot. There was actually an article in the Wall Street Journal about that very, very thing. So let's see. Oh my God, 12th row. You can practically jump up on the stage and sing with him. I know. And here's the thing. Oh, and you got 12th row also. Hey. He is actually going to the AAC, Josh. It's just not that. It's not that show. He has 2 shows that are still in like January or February of 2022 that are at the American Airlines Center. They're on like a Tuesday and Wednesday night or something. And Monica and Mike are coming in from out of town, so we wanted to do a weekend night. But you might look into that. That's funny that you got 12th row. So they're not even on sale yet to everybody. I have the American Express Business Platinum card. If you own a business, it's the best card to have. And they get you get early access to all kinds of tickets. Love it. And I could have bought up to 8 of them. And I was like, you know what? I did that for Celine Dion. And it came back and bit me in the ass. I ended up not selling all of them. And then it was a really expensive concert for me. Don't tell Todd that. I hope he's not watching. Maybe this will be the episode he does not see. And then I had one last question for y'all. I wish I could put up a poll. What is the definition of bi-monthly to you? Because I saw it on something today, and they were using it to refer to twice a month. And to me, that means semi-monthly, and bi-monthly means every other month, right? Every 2 months is bi-monthly to me, and semi-monthly is twice a month, every half a month. So I looked it up. Tell me, put in the comments. I'm vamping here. What do you think bi-monthly means? Do you think it means every 2 weeks, or twice a month, or does it mean every 2 months? Tell me in the comments. There's a 20-second delay between the time my words come out of my mouth and you hear them, and that's why I'm kind of vamping right now. So I looked it up. Did you know, it's the weirdest thing. Did you know it means both? It literally can mean it can mean every 2 months, or it can mean twice a month. Bi-monthly means both of those things. How fucking stupid is that? It means both. Phyllis, you're right. I think it can mean both. I bet this is one of those, and Josh is saying every 2 weeks. Michelle's saying every 2 months. Alice is saying twice a month. I bet this is one of those things that where people were using it incorrectly so much. And by incorrectly, I mean those of you who said twice a month. We're using it so much that it just became usage dictates meaning, I guess. There's some phrase like that. My English teacher used to always say, usage dictates meaning, I think is what she said. So if you use it wrong enough, if you say it wrong enough times, suddenly that's what it means. Every 2 weeks is bi-weekly. I know. Twice a month or every other month. It means both of those things. That's so fucking confusing. So what if you get something and you're like, you have a bi-monthly subscription and it's $50 per time? Would you expect to be paying $100 a month? Or would you expect to be paying $100 every other month? Like, that is so weird to me. Kelly, what does AP Style say? What does AP Style say? That's what I did not look it up there, but AP Style is what governs my industry. So I should have actually looked there first. So anyway, I just thought that was weird. And how confusing. She's having a text stroke. What are you? You're like, what? Marriott. Okay. Don't you hate it? So my autocorrect on my phone, I say well a lot. I was like, well, I guess you're going to do that. Or, well, it thinks I want to say wheel every time. WE''LL. And I'm like, I say that a lot too, but that's not what I mean here. It always wants to do that. It finally learned that I don't ever say ducking. Who says ducking? Alrighty. What does bisexual mean then? I don't know what anything means in that realm anymore. So, and it's so confusing. Why have the word at all? I agree. Phyllis, totally. Alrighty. Yeah, Eric is saying I Googled it. It means both. I know. It's so stupid. I just do not understand that. So, alrighty. Well, with that, I'm going to wind up. I'm over time. I love you. It's important to know you are loved. I cannot wait. I love that you watched this. This is my therapy. I needed it today. Cannot wait to be coming to you live from somewhere else. I think we're going to leave, like I said, Friday or Saturday. So I'm here for this week. I haven't checked with Carrie if she is. I can't remember what she's doing this week. But I will see you tomorrow at 4:30 for another episode of Cooped Up Live, should I say.